Hello again, and welcome to our second tribute to the Holy City of Jerusalem. Our previous podcast featured a Hebrew and, thanks to Don McLean, an English rendition of By the Waters of Babylon, which speaks to the Jewish people's exile from the Holy Land at the hands of the Babylonians in 586 BCE. Today's podcast offers two musical gems that illustrate how our yearning for Jerusalem has endured over the centuries. First, here is a song whose melody, dating back to the 18th century, came from the Jews of Morocco, and whose words were written in the 19th century by Rabbi Eliyahu Bechor Chazan. With thanks to my friend Moshe Silberstein, here is a translation. When will the day come when I will see the rebuilt Jerusalem? So lovely her physical settings, so very beautiful her allotted portion, surrounded by mountains, a fiery wall facing her, the flame of God. And now for your listening pleasure, here is that song, performed by Shuli Natan. Our podcast concludes with an Israeli song that captures that yearning for Jerusalem in three different centuries. The first stanza references the late 15th century during the tragic Spanish Inquisition, when many Jews chose death rather than converting to Christianity. The second stanza references the 18th or 19th century in Russia, when some Jews took the brave step to immigrate to the Holy Land. And the third and fourth stanzas take place in the 20th century, in the 1960s. Specifically, the third stanza takes place in the USSR, where the communist government prohibited the practice of Judaism and the KGB recorded the names of those Russians, many of them university students, bold enough to dance in the streets of Moscow on the festive holiday of Simchat Torah. And the fourth stanza takes place in Jerusalem during the Six-Day War. Sung by Moti Fleischer, with music by Nurit Hirsch, and lyrics by the supremely gifted Dan Almagor, the song is entitled Lamut B'Yerushalayim, to die in Jerusalem. With thanks to my niece, Miri Gold, here is a translation. When they were about to burn him at the stake, there in the town square at noon, the bishop stood with the cardinal, and his coat was red, like the coat of the executioner. When the tongues of fire gripped him, looking heavenward, he closed his eyes. Then his lips murmured, "Forgive me, God. In vain I had hoped all my days to die in Jerusalem." When Rabbi Zisha turned 70, and the children had already left home, he suddenly sold his meager possessions and went out with his wife with 20 rubles in his pocket. The whole village escorted him to the edge of town, waving farewell, and the elders looked on jealously, thinking, Rabbi Zisha, that lucky one, will merit to die in Jerusalem. A little note in the corner of the bulletin board hinted the festive holiday of Simchat Torah is in 2 days. He didn't know a single letter of Hebrew, but in the streets of Moscow he stood with tens of thousands, and he knew that his name was now written down by the police, but he danced, drunk, but not from wine. And he suddenly thought of his father, his dead father who had not merited to die in Jerusalem. When the battalion commander suddenly said, "Let's move," the soldier smiled and answered, "After 2 weeks?" In the evening he called his wife. "We changed direction a bit. Kiss the 3 kids for me." And when they told him, "This is Abu Tor," he said, "Okay, cover me." And as he ran over the fence, he suddenly thought how wonderful it is to live in Jerusalem, to live in Jerusalem. And the song ends ominously with the sound of gunfire.
כשהעלו אותו על המוקד, שם בכיכר העיר עם צהריים, וההגמון עמד עם החשמן, ומעילם אדום כמעילו של עתליין. כשאחזו בו לשונות האש, והוא עצם עיניו כלפי שמיים, אז מלמלו שפתיו סליחה אלי, לשווא קיוויתי כל ימיי, למות בירושלים, למות בירושלים. כשהגיע זישה ל70, והילדים עזבו כבר את הבית, מחר פתאום את רכושו הדל, ועם אשתו יצא, ובכיסו 20 רובל. וכל העיירה אותו ליוותה, עד לערוב ונפנפה ידיים, והזקנים הביטו בקנאה, רב זישה בר מזל יזכה למות בירושלים, למות בירושלים. פתקה קטנה על לוח בפינה, רמזה שמחת תורה בעוד יומיים. הוא לא ידע עברית צורה של אות, אך ברחובות מוסקבה עמד עם כל הרבבות, והוא ידע ששמו עכשיו נרשם, אבל רקד שיכור ולא מיין, והוא נזכר לפתע באביו, אביו המת שלא זכה למות בירושלים, למות בירושלים. כשהמגד אמר פתאום זזים, חייך סוף סוף, חיכינו די שבועיים. בערב הוא צלצל אל האישה, שינינו קצת כיוון, נשקי בשמי את השלושה. כשאמרו לו כאן זה אבו תור, אמר בסדר תחפו על 2. וכשהוא רץ לעבר הגדר, חשב פתאום כמה נפלא לחיות בירושלים, לחיות בירושלים.
Please join me tomorrow for our final podcast about the Jewish people's millennia-old yearning for Jerusalem. Signing off for now with a song in my heart.